Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the PM guy right here. The time is here. I'm going to talk about the meat of the PM interview, the design questions. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I work at Microsoft as a PM. I just wanted to share my experience of how I prepared and also some of the jobs that you can take as a computer science major or engineering major. So hope you guys enjoy it and stay tuned for more videos too. I want to divide it into two parts for this video. In my opinion, two primary questions that you may get asked are: one, how to improve the current existing product, and two, if you were to build a new product, what would you build? For today, for the part one, let's cover the new business idea. If you were to build a new company, what would you build? And let's get right to it. So as you can see, the problem itself is super broad. So the first thing first you want to do is think of a problem that you want to solve. Right off the bat, what I would tell the interviewer would be business idea stems from solving the real life problem. So I want to identify that first. So please give me like maybe a couple minutes just to gather my thoughts and think about the problems that I want to tackle. So where do we start? Some of the things that you can think of is like a problem that you recently encountered. So for example, if you went to a restaurant and you forgot your wallet, but you finished eating, so what do? Start listing things out, and that could be a good start for you to prep for these interviews. Or it could also be a startup idea that you've always wanted to launch. And the worst comes worst, you might not get an offer from the company you're interviewing for this product manager role, but in the end, you'll get a feedback from this interviewer, and who knows, you might launch that startup and that takes off, and you might do better off by doing that startup than doing a product manager. So you never know. If you have an idea, I'm sure that's something that you're passionate about. That's something that you really want to do. So getting a feedback from existing product manager who has like an extensive industry experience could be super valuable. Number two, ask some confirmation or the clarifying questions. Like I said, it's a broad topic that you're trying to tackle here. In order to narrow down, you want to answer why, how, where, when, what. Did I get the 6? Start answering these 5 W's. Start engaging in more conversation instead of listing out the 5 W's and say, hey, this is what I'm gonna build, and that's all about it. Just show that you're willing to get more feedback. It's good for your learning after all. Number 3, define the success metrics and find a way to measure that success. As a new business, the biggest goal is to get as many users and customers as possible to drive that sales. But how do we measure that? So for example, I can think of the 2 big categories. Number 1, if it's a B2B business, you're helping another business to be successful by helping end users or another companies. So how do we make sure their increase in sales came from our product and service? Is there analytics that we provide that it actually came from our service? And second part is the B2C business. So your product and service is helping the end users, and we can measure our success by seeing how many people are buying or coming back to our product and service. But what are some other ways we can measure how we're doing at this point? Is there a social media channel we can collect our feedback, or through directly from our product? And also, how do we make sure that the feedback and the reviews are not skewed? A lot of times the people who leave the review are either super angry or super happy. So what are some of the ways you can make sure that you get the feedback from all across the different users so that it's not skewed or biased? Something to think about. Number 4, define the use cases. So now that you have scoped down the business idea to a little narrower, you have a little more clear picture of what you want to build. Now you want to write down how exactly the customers are going to use. So you want to really put yourself in the customer's shoes and really go through every step of how the customers will use that. So let's take designing an alarm clock for the blind people as an example. Let's say it's for waking up from a sleep. Where should the button or the feature go for the blind people to set the alarm? How can the blind people turn off the alarm? Or do we want to tell the current time? how do we design that part? Is that gonna be a button? Start thinking about these, detailed and specific use cases, which will lead you to your next case of number 5, design it. So now that you've come up with the use cases, define the purpose, define the 5 W's, and know how to measure your success metrics, all you gotta do is design this. Now use that whiteboard to draw out the physical or the virtual product or service that you just had in mind. This is a time where you bring that idea into reality. Even though you and interviewer defined everything up until so far, what you actually design may be different from what the interviewer was thinking. Now, once you finish designing, it's not done yet. There's one more last step, which is number 6. You want to review your product. Refer back to the use cases to see if you covered all the use cases that customers will be using the product or service for, and see if you missed anything. Sometimes you might have missed it, and that's okay. Just go back and make sure you add those features so that it covers that use cases to your design part of it. And once you finish, ask the interviewer, see if you missed anything else. That's a key part. You want to carry this interview as like a more conversational, and think of it as like an opportunity for you to learn and get more feedback and learn how to think from different perspectives too. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just wanted to give you a high level overview of how to tackle these design questions. And like I said, today is a part 1 of this video. Part 2 is going to be about if you were to improve a existing product, what would you improve? And I'll tell you how to tackle those problems too. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more interview tips and PM related videos. Until next time, peace.